South Florida easily has some of the best cities to live in all of Florida. I mean, think about it. You have Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, Boca, Delray, the Gables, Coconut Grove, you name it, we pretty much have it. But what's the best city out of all these to live for you and your family? There's so many different options and they're all vastly different. So in this video, I'm going to rank them in a tiered list, everything from average all the way up to superior to some of the top cities here in South Florida. So let's jump right into it. So first up, we have the city of Miami, and honestly, we're gonna rank them as amazing, not yet right there at that superior level, but Miami is a pretty amazing city when you think about it. So in terms of where Miami's located, Miami's in the southernmost part of South Florida. So it's pretty much everything that anyone and everyone thinks about when they think of South Florida. This is where all the action is, the downtown areas, Brickell, Miami Beach. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on, especially if you love the nightlife aspect of it and the boating as well. Now, when it comes to the suburbs and things, that is further west, so we're not really considering that as part of Miami. But if you want to be in the city and all the action and have that big city feel, Miami is definitely going to be the spot for you. Next up, we have Delray Beach, and as some people call it, Delray, and we're gonna rank Delray as pretty sweet. I mean, it is pretty sweet, and especially that East Delray area. In terms of location for Delray, Delray is just north of Boca and just south of Boynton, and it does run all the way east to west. So you get to enjoy everything that Boca has to offer while sometimes not having to pay that premium of living in Boca. And I will say, when it comes to things to do in Delray, there's a lot of great stuff, both east and west. However, personally, I like out east in Delray, especially right off Atlantic Ave. Plenty of shopping, dining, and entertainment options, not to mention the beach as well. Next, we have Coconut Grove, and this one was a little bit difficult, but I'm going to have to put them in pretty sweet as well. I will say it's like kind of the Miami version of Delray. You're right there next to Coral Gables, which is a clutch location. You are on the water as well. Plus, there's tons of shopping, dining, and entertainment options in Coco Walk. You can walk along the water. They also have the Coconut Grove Run Club, and obviously you have to have a bodega as well. Now we have Coral Gables, and this is going to be our first superior on our rankings list. I mean, Coral Gables is awesome. In terms of location for Coral Gables, it is southwest of like the downtown area and just north of Coconut Grove. And it's pretty amazing when you get there and be able to walk around and actually see and feel Coral Gables. A lot of people don't give it the credit it deserves. I will say it is right there on par with that of Boca. It might be even bougier than Boca in some aspects of it. Plus you have Miracle Mile with all your shopping, dining, entertainment needs. You have the Biltmore Hotel, great golf, great access to downtown Miami and everything. You're close to the water. There's really not anything not to like about living in Coral Gables. Now we have West Palm, and this one's gonna be a little bit controversial. I'm gonna put West Palm just above average. Now look, hear me out. West Palm's got a lot of development and a lot of things going on, but as it stands right now, downtown West Palm and West Palm in general just don't have it going on like that of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Do they have a great downtown area? Yes, but it's not popping like that of Miami and Fort Lauderdale, like I said. And most people, when they think of West Palm, think of Palm Beach. Palm Beach is its own thing across the bridge and across the water. Not West Palm at all. Now, once some of this stuff does get built up in West Palm, in the downtown area, I think West Palm can definitely jump up into that pretty sweet territory. But as it stands right now, we're in above average. Now we have one of the GOAT cities, and that's Fort Lauderdale. And Fort Lauderdale, we gotta put at pretty sweet. Now, Fort Lauderdale is very comparable to that of Delray. I think the biggest difference between Fort Lauderdale and Delray is Fort Lauderdale is a lot more active and a lot more happening. It's kind of like a mini Miami in a sense. If you like a lot of the aspects of Miami, but you don't like the constant nightlife, the constant partying, Fort Lauderdale's a lot more tame aspects of that, while also being a little bit more lively than that of like Boca, Delray, and West Palm, which is really nice. In terms of location for Fort Lauderdale, it is in Broward County and it is out east, so it's just north of like the Hollywood area and just south of Pompano. On top of that, it is the yachting capital of the world, and they have some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire state of Florida. All right, now we have Boca Raton, and as some people call it, Boca, and that's what really most people call it. And Boca's right up there with Coral Gables, so we're putting it in superior. In terms of location for Boca, Boca's at the southernmost part of Palm Beach County, and it's just north of Pompano and Deerfield, and just south of Delray. Just like Delray though, it does run all the way from east to west, so you do have the beach, and you also have the Everglades. Honestly, Boca is superior just like that of Coral Gables. Boca and Coral Gables are pretty much neck and neck. A lot of similarities, but I will say Boca has a different feel once you get into the city. Very bougie type atmosphere, and Boca does run from east to west. So pretty much north of Deerfield area and just south of Delray, you have that entire area from east to west. So it's massive, ton of country club neighborhoods. So if golf's your thing, this is the area for you. You have Lake Boca and Boca Bash, which is awesome. On top of that, you will not see any car dealerships or billboards for the most part throughout all of Boca. So like I said before, it has a different feel to it in general, and you can just tell from like walking around, driving, and even the people. Okay, now we have Miami Beach. And I thought about putting it above average because a lot of people think of like Miami Beach as just like very touristy and things like that. But honestly, I'm gonna put it in that pretty sweet territory because there's a lot of stuff going on. Plus you have the South of 5th neighborhood in Miami Beach, which is, you know, one of the most bougie areas in all of Miami-Dade. So you have to put it in there. You also have South Point Park, and there's always something to do, which is really nice. Definitely one of the more walkable areas in all of South Florida as well. In terms of the location for Miami Beach, it is clutch. So you're in Miami-Dade and you are directly east of downtown Miami. However, you do have the beach as well as the intercoastal. It does come with some pros and cons because getting back across the bridge to downtown and pretty much the mainland in a sense, it can be kind of a pain in the butt, especially with traffic during rush hour. Like I said before though, very touristy at parts, especially as you get close to the beach, but like that middle strip and as you work your way into North Beach, a lot more residential and people who actually live there long term. And one of the best things about it, like I said, it's very walkable. So you don't need a car if you don't want to. However, again, across the bridge, you're definitely gonna need one because we don't have like great public transportation unless you're taking Uber. Now let's talk about Pembroke Pines, which is honestly kind of slept on. Now I am gonna put them above average because they are at the end of the day just a suburb. In terms of location for Pembroke Pines, it is in that middle ground between both 75 and the Turnpike, just south of Davie and just north of Miramar. It is pretty much in a clutch location because you can get very quickly to Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and even Miami. There's a lot of stuff to do. They're not like your sleepy, snoozy suburb. I will say there's not a ton of nightlife, so if you're looking for nightlife, bars, clubs, things like that, that's not going to be the scene out here in Pembroke Pines. However, there are some bars and things, but for the most part, a lot of great parks, a lot of different family activities and things like that. One of the best parks has to be that of CB Smith Park, which is a ton of fun. On top of that, strip centers are pretty much the key thing here. A ton of new ones being built, which is really, really nice, especially since they're putting new gyms in a lot of them because some of the gyms were constantly packed. You can go in at like 10 o'clock on a Friday night, be waiting for a squat rack, be waiting for the bench. Obviously people, you know, you're squatting on a Friday night, you know you're serious, but you know, waiting for things, that's a pain in the butt. On top of that, they do have some great shopping and dining options, especially at the shops at Pembroke Gardens, and they do have a Nike outlet stores there as well. Now this one might piss some people off, and that's gonna be Hollywood. So first off, where in the world is Hollywood? So Hollywood's just south of Fort Lauderdale and Dania, but north of Hollandale. So it's in a clutch location, especially if you love both Miami and Fort Lauderdale, but you don't wanna live in either one. You can get to either one pretty quickly, but we're gonna put Hollywood in above average. And that's because there's just not a ton of stuff going on. Yes, they do have the Broadwalk and the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, also known as Guitar Hotel. They have some great parks, great shopping, different things, but it's just nothing like that special yet. There's a lot of development going on, especially around the circle, a lot of buildings being built. A lot of developers are starting to realize how clutch that location for Hollywood is. They're starting to take advantage of it, but just overall, I feel like, you know, it's a little bit more suburban. I mean, you do have a great hospital system with Joe DiMaggio being there, but nothing that really takes it to the next level to be pretty sweet yet. And last but not least, we have Pompano Beach. And Pompano is just north of Fort Lauderdale, but south of Boca. So if you love Boca, but you don't want to pay the Boca prices, you love Fort Lauderdale, and you want to live on the water, but don't want to pay those prices, Pompano Beach is going to be the spot. And I'm super bullish on Pompano. So where are we going to rank it? We're going to put it at pretty, just kidding. We can't put it at pretty sweet yet. We're going to put it at just above average because, you know, there's a lot of development going on and a ton of stuff happening here in Pompano, but it's not all completed yet. Once it gets completed, just like Hollywood, I could say we could put it into pretty sweet. But like I was saying before, a ton of stuff going on. If you want the best of both worlds, but you don't want to pay the premiums from Fort Lauderdale or Boca, a lot of people are starting to realize that Pompano is a hidden gem, especially a lot of these developers. I mean, they're bringing a Ritz-Carlton residences to Pompano. If they're bringing a Ritz to Pompano, they know something's going on. So if they're on it, we should be on it as well. Top of that, you have some great things to do, like the pier and the fishing village, which has been completely redone. Downtown area is being redone. Especially if you're a fisherman, this might be the city for you because you do have the inlet right there. You can live on the water right around $1 million, which isn't bad either, and really just get to enjoy a laid-back South Florida lifestyle. So that's the rankings for the best cities for you and your family to live here in South Florida. But let me know in the comments, what did we get right? What did we get wrong? And should we do another tiered list with some more cities here in South Florida? And if you or anyone you know are looking to move to South Florida or Florida in general, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can call me, email me, text me, DM me, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.